Welcome to ZKast, everyone. I'm ZKast Valentine from ZK Research, and I'm here on site at Marco Simone Golf Club in Rome as part of the 2023 Ryder Cup. And I'm joined by HPE, a couple of HPE execs, and you guys are the one of the official infrastructure partners for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And I got a pretty interesting tour this morning, so we're going to talk about it. First up is Matt Valentine, who's the country leader for UK and Ireland, and I think some other stuff. Just a quick bio on yourself and what you do.
Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks for having us today. So yeah, Matt Valentine, I run Aruba for the UK and Ireland. What do I do? Well, we connect places. We securely connect large public venues and other office spaces. We're here today for the Ryder Cup, and we're going to talk you through how we're achieving that.
Yeah, and then also joining me is Simon Wilson. You're the CTO. You want to just grab the mic?
Yeah, sure.
And just talk a little bit about your role.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the CTO for Aruba in the UK and Ireland, and my job is to make sure our customers understand the market, but in this case it's to make sure that the customers get the right things from the technology. So, you know, are the possible conversations and then building infrastructure to support their goals.
And this is more than an Aruba deployment, though. Well, I've got a couple of Arubans here.
Absolutely.
The HPE investment here includes some servers, you know, Green Lake services, things like that, correct?
Yeah, we've expanded the engagements to the full HPE portfolio. So with the addition of the Green Lake Cloud platform, we're now doing server storage and networking from a single pane of glass.
Yeah, and so before we talk about the tech, Simon, give the mic back to Matt. Matt, why is it important for HPE to be part of an event like the Ryder Cup? Why the sponsorship? It's a pretty big event, and what do you get out of it?
Yeah, sure. So look, for HPE and for Aruba networking, you know, our desire is to connect things that matter most to people. And a big event like the Ryder Cup that brings so many people together, so many fans of the sport, so many past legends of the sport, what could be better than to deliver the best, the most connected course, the most connected event that we can to give people access to the things they need while they're here, be it easy access to entry through ticketless, be it having all of their access to the player data, the players they wish to follow, the player profiles, the shots the players are taking, the scores on the board, but then more importantly, the things they want to take home, the merchandise for the presents for friends and family, for memorabilia from the event itself, and then of course, you know, as we're doing now, the sort of media connectivity and streaming back all of the content for people to watch globally, such an important part. And these living projects, these live events, are just a part of the heritage of the Aruba life.
Yeah, we got a little tour this morning, and one of the things they said was that this is the most, not only the most connected, but also the most sustainable, and really the Ryder Cup, maybe the PG event with the best fan experience. And can you kind of expand on those things?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, over the course of this event, there'll be over 250,000 people coming here.
That's a lot of people.
Very partisan, right? Very Europe versus the USA.
Yeah.
It's a unique event in sport, absolutely unique event in sport, and it demands a unique experience. So, yeah, what we've tried to make sure is that people have got connectivity wherever they are, because so much is driven now from the phone. You know, I mean, the CTO for the Ryder Cup, Michael Cole, says the only thing you need to bring to the course is your phone.
Yeah.
And of course, if you've got your phone, you need to connect it, because that's where the data is. It's in the cloud. So we want to make sure we've got connectivity all over the course and to deliver the best experience ever.
And so talk about the technology that's here from a connectivity perspective. Obviously, there's a lot of, I've seen a bunch of the Aruba access points already.
Yep.
How many access points? I also know there's an Ethernet component, this 5.5G. How are you using that, and how are those technologies coming to deliver to bring the connectivity to the fans that want to use their phones that are on the course?
Absolutely. So as you know, I mean, cellular technology in your phone in your hand has evolved immeasurably in the last 4 years. So we're delivering more bandwidth than ever before. We've got 800 access points on the course, a mixture
800.
Of 800, a mixture of Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E to give us the capacity. That's all supported by 200 switches, and some of them in those little metal cabinets you maybe see around the course, and that all feeds into 2 network operations centers where we're securing the services with HPE services.
Yeah, and so compare that, the 800 access points, to what did you were also the infrastructure partner in Paris, the Ryder Cup in 20, what was it, 18, I think. How many access points were in that one?
So we have between 500 and 600 in Paris. So
Okay.
there's more access points here and there's greater capacity here.
Yeah. So even though these access points have better range and using different technology, you still need more just because of more people.
Well, we're covering
Yeah.
more areas of the course than we ever
Yeah.
had before. And of course, there's a high density of people that require higher bandwidth. So yeah, more access points are required.
I understand 5G is part of that. Can you explain how 5G fits into the overall network design too?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question because here we are in Rome, the eternal city. You can't put a spade in the ground without finding archaeology underneath it. So there are some areas that they weren't allowed to dig and lay fibre under the course. So clearly we want to have that connectivity everywhere. So one of the ways to do that was to use a private 5G as a backhaul to provide Wi-Fi services to people in certain parts of the course. In fact, it's actually right behind you. So at the top of the 10th, we've got a 5G base station from Athernet, which is a recent acquisition. And then there's the CPE and some outdoor access points, literally there between the two fairways.
Okay, well, I'll have to go have a look for those. And Matt, I want to come back to you about sustainability. I know that was a big part of the design here. HPE has some pretty aggressive goals as far as sustainability goes. How can you talk about how that's sort of made its way into HPE culture, and then what you're trying to accomplish here from a sustainability factor?
Yeah, of course. So there's one big thing for us. I mean, we run Europe's biggest IT recycling facility in our factory in Erskine. And so when we come out to somewhere like the Ryder Cup, okay, so there's a combination of things. Sustainability comes around our environmental impact as well. Simon's touched upon the ecology of the area that we're in Rome. So by using things like solar-powered wireless access points, that's a really key part to avoid any disruption to the landscape itself. But then we're using, for the first time at any sporting occasion, we're using our sustainability dashboard to look at the power consumption of the technology that's here. As you pointed out, there's more technology, there's more demands.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty exciting, actually, to be able to
Yeah.
visually see the impact of sustainability.
Yeah, and just small things like powering down the technology in between its utilizations. There's such a fundamental part of that everybody can take benefit from as they emulate. And so from our own perspective, then of course it's also about what happens to the technology after the event. And so, for those that weren't aware, the technology gets used at the next event and the next event on the DP World Tour.
Yeah, and this is the CTO of the Ryder Cup actually works with the DP World Tour, so he'll be able to replicate a lot of these things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, we do tend to bring the technology refreshes in for the Ryder Cup because we plan towards them for so long. Yeah. But then they get used as we move around the circuit, which is a unique part of the European setup.
Yeah. And Simon, I'll come back to you. One of the things that came up here too was IoT.
Yep.
Right. So from what I understand, IoT wasn't part of Paris at all.
No.
But it's a big component of this. So how are connected things fitting into the overall architecture here?
So let me say, one of the challenges they had in Paris, of course, is power. You appreciate that pretty much everything on the course is generated.
Yeah, you got to power everything.
You got to power everything. Right? So monitoring that power and understanding that power was a critical factor as well. I mean, here we are, in 30-degree sunshine.
Yeah.
So clearly it's quite hot out on the course, particularly in those little metal cabinets with the equipment. So we had to monitor the environmental conditions. So that the IT team can take proactive action. So if they see, that either there's a power brownout, or it's getting too hot or too wet, perhaps in one of those cabinets. Probably not wet today, right?
Yeah.
It's certainly too hot. Then they can go out to that cabinet and take proactive action. Maybe they have to open the door, add some extra cooling, that kind of thing. But they can make sure that the services stay on for all the people that really need it.
Yeah, and so last question for you. And in 2018, in the last Ryder Cup, AI was something that we looked at as very visionary.
Absolutely.
Right, and then along came generative AI and ChatGPT and thrust AI into the forefront of everything. Although I know Aruba's been using AI for a long time, so behind the covers.
We've been using AI for a long time, but I think one of the things we've been able to do here is to shift from an on-premise model. So back in 2018, it was all on-premise technology, so all the IT techs supporting it had to be on site. So since then, we've shifted to Aruba Central, a cloud-based platform, which not only allows the IT team to support remotely, so there's about half the number of tech team on the networking side here to support than there was in the past, but also it includes an AI operations capability. So one of the key things is identifying problems and fixing them, ideally before the users notice.
Yeah.
So the AI ops is basically giving them a prescription for things they need to do to make sure the service stays at the right level. So rather than, as I used to be in support, having to scroll through the
that's fun,
logs, right?
And your swivel chair management.
You just love doing that, right? And to find that one thing you have to care about, right? So what the AI Ops is doing is basically looking for patterns in the data, looking through the data lake for anomalies, and it's coming up with prescriptions for things they need to do. And we've already found a couple that we can tweak. So
yeah, and so from what I understand, I want to just reiterate what you just said. The support staff here in their operations center is half.
We've got half the people supporting the network.
Even though you have more people, more access points, more network capacity.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and of course, in any support model, you've got the on-site team. You've then got kind of your third and fourth line. It's making it so much easier for us to call upon them, to have them look at the data in real time, because it's all accessible from the cloud.
Okay, we'll do more with less, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And so one more question. Let's get some predictions here.
Yep.
The Ryder Cup ceremonies kick off in just in about half an hour, I guess. Predictions on who's going to win this year. I know the U.S. is favored, but Europe, I think, is more top-heavy. U.S. might be a little deeper.
Absolutely. So there's three things in Europe's favour. One, I think we've got home field advantage. Clearly, Luke Donald has set the course up to suit our team.
Yeah.
I think we've got momentum. 2 weeks ago at the BMW, 7 out of the top 10 were in the European team.
That's right. Yeah.
And we're hungry, right? We took a bit of a beating last time at Whistling Straits, and we want that cut back. And on home soil, we're going to do it.
Yeah. Matt, you agree with that?
Hey, look, the AI might say that the US have got the stronger team, but sometimes intuition is all you have to go with. Europe by 2, John Rahm, our leading points taker.
Wow, well
that's very specific.
He's even given a bold prediction there. Okay.
And
well,
how about yours before we sign off?
Go on,
well, being from the U.S., I got to cheer for the U.S. We got the #1 player in the world, and we've got this might be one of the deeper U.S. teams that I've seen in a long time. So. I know U.S. historically has not done very well in Europe, and as you mentioned, it's set up, I think, for the European players. But I do think the U.S. is a deep enough team they can pull it out. So I guess we'll find out Sunday, though.
2 for Europe, 1 for USA.
Okay. Anyways, on behalf of Matt and Simon, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm ZKast from ZK Research saying thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on another ZKast.